Hello Trade Pros, it's Victor from TRADEPRO Academy yet again, and as promised, we are going to dive into candlestick wicks and futures, how we can trade futures using candlestick wicks for that higher probability trade. So first I want to mention that you're going to need a little more than just candlestick analysis to trade futures successfully. There's other things to look at such as volume, down here, volume profiles, the general trend of the market, the general resistance and support levels, price action, among many other things such as the DOM correlations, other markets, etc. But just for demonstration purposes today, I just want to show you how we can use different candlestick wicks and different candlestick wick patterns to successfully find higher probability trades on the ES and CL futures. So that's the S&P E-mini futures and crude oil futures. So first I'd like to start off by telling you that on the left here on this chart, you can see a 5-tick range chart on the ES, the S&P mini futures, and on the right here you can see the 800 volume candles on the exact same futures. So on one right here on the left, these 5 ticks is every 5 ticks will print a new candle depending on the rotation, and on the right here every 800 contracts will print one candle. So we're going to look at similar charts when it comes down to oil. So let's just get right into this. First, we want to look at the general story of the market. What is the market doing right now? And we want to hop on that trend. Right here, from what we can see is that it's generally in a little sideways trend here. You can see coming into resistance at this VWAP, which has held previously, but right now look at that, it's looking like it kind of wants to break. Now why is that? If we go into the volume bar candles, we can see a little more intricacy in the story by looking at the candlestick wicks. So what we want to note is that right here, first on the 5-tick, you can see these white doji wicks, white candle wicks that are forming. Remember, the types of candles we're going to look at are just simple dojis, tiny body, huge wicks, a tiny body with larger wicks, not necessarily a doji, or it could be a hammer or a hanging man type pattern. And we're going to look at larger candles with little or no wicks. Remember, these could be either bearish or bullish type candles. So the bearish candles are the black ones, the bullish ones are the white ones, a little different from TradingView where they are colored. But what I wanted to note is that at support levels, you can see these wicks are forming larger and larger, indicating that buyers are really taking over. And you can see down here from the volume, you can see volume comes in on these wick candles, meaning that there are a lot of buyers behind this. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th time through, and the VWAP does break. Remember, we talked about this in foundations. The more a level gets tested, the weaker it can become. But why did that happen? Just based on wicks, we can see right here on the volume bar candles. This is a very useful tool right here. You can see a huge white wick candle forms followed by a large no wicked white candle. Remember what we talked about? No wick candles, big no wick candles, whether bearish or bullish, are usually good signs of momentum increasing in that direction. Right here at the VWAP, you can see the bears had something to say about it, but quickly engulfed by a no wicked white candle followed by wicked white candles, and that continues, breaks out, and the larger white candles do continue. But look at this, right at this resistance right here, black candles take over the bearish candles, and dojis and long wick candles form. These are great reversal or continuation depending on where the market is and what kind of story it's telling you. So right here's a perfect example. Current downtrend happens, black candles engulfing all the white candles. Down here at this support, a white wick candle forms right after a huge black one. Another white wicked, black wicked, another white wicked, white doji, white wick. These wick candles around areas like these, just watch out for the length of the wicks, the color of the candles, and the potential reversal. They can also turn into continuation candles right here. These huge white wicks and white dojis do press price higher. You can see it engulfed by larger white candles. If we go back into the 5-tick, this chart right here, you can see a similar pattern forming. Right into support right here, you can see a fight of longer white wicks and not much black wick candles here, and then finally engulfed by a large white candle. Right here at support, it stalls out, fights a bit. The bulls don't want to let this go, and it presses back up. Again, right here, black wick, black wick, black wick happens until the black wicks kind of die out, engulfed by larger white wicks, presses higher. So that's kind of how you look at the wicks, wick lengths, and candle body sizes when trading the ES, looking at the 5-tick and the 800 volume bar candles. Before we switch over to the CL, remember how we talked about this looks like kind of a capitulation area where the black wicks come in and start to take over. Black engulfed candle, white wick, white candle tries to press it up, but look, big, large black candles come in, black wick candle back into the bottom of the Bollinger Range and the VWAP, which could find some support. Let's watch how these candles here form. If there are wicks and larger white wick candles down in this area, we could look for a reversal back higher right off this VWAP bounce. So while we wait for that, see how that shapes out, we'll go over to CL and do some analysis there. This is crude oil. Remember, I talked about a 5-tick chart right here on the left and the 200 volume bar chart on the right. So it works in a similar fashion, respecting levels, looking at the general trend of the market, the general story the market tells you, and using the wicks to follow that trend. So down here, after this reversal happened, you can see a fight. These wicks did not let the sellers push it any lower. More wicks come in. And then this area is encompassed by this huge wick battle down into these areas right here before a spring higher. You can see the longer white wicks encompassed by dojis and whatnot do take over. Huge white candles engulf and the move higher. But remember, guys, we want to look at volume profiles to the side here. We want to look at this volume here. What is it doing on these up moves, on these down moves? And right now we're looking at somewhat a reversal potentially here. Let's see how these wicks form. Remember, we're in a technically bullish trend right now, a bullish area, but we came into some resistance up here. The bears did not like so much and are trying to push it down. If we do find some dojis here, some black wick candles to press it lower, that could be the case. But if the white wick candles and the white dojis do come out in sequence right here around this area, we could see a potential reversal and continuation to this upside. So while we wait for that on CL, let's see what our ES trade did. And right here, would you look at that? It's kind of fighting in that area. It's still fighting. It came down. Wicks, white wicks come here. Huge black candle absorbed, engulfed by a bullish candle right here. Wicks continue. Support at these VWAPs is technically holding still. What we would like to have seen for a higher probability trade would have been wicks like these, maybe something like this, a white candle form right at this area. Higher probability trade, press it higher. Another little trick for you guys is when equidistant candles form, black after white after black after white at a level, this could be a potential for a reversal. What you want to see is one of these candles take the lead. Maybe something like this would appear, and then maybe another white wick candle like this after this would be a nice bullish opportunity. So let's see if we could find something of that nature, and one happens to be around this area right here. This is kind of similar to what I was talking about, not maybe exactly like that, but it is harder to find a exact pattern that just moves sideways to a T, but here is a decent example. You see the trend comes up, engulfed by a large black candle, 0 wicks. Fight happens, white wicks come in, black wicks come in right here, larger black wick forms. Huge black candle, no wicks, engulfs and presses it lower. So if we come back to the spoos that we were talking about, remember, we talked about the VWAP area and we talked about wicks and dojis forming around that area for a potential reversal. And look what happened. A huge fight broke out right here. Huge doji wicks, white candles coming in, huge white candle prevails, and boom, presses higher. Right here off the bottom of that move at the 64.75 level all the way to the top, 67.75. That is a huge 3-point move. That is a decent amount of money on the ES contracts. So again, guys, that was the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed wicks and candlesticks. So Victorio from TradePro Academy. Drop a like if you like what you saw about futures, candlesticks, and futures wicks. If you want to learn about futures, we offer a great futures course at TradePro Academy, and we've traded futures live every day with you guys in our morning trading room. Again, drop a comment. What did you like? What do you want to see next? We're going to look at stocks and Forex next time we check out wicks. And subscribe, ring that little bell to notify you when we do go live every morning on our morning market analysis.